What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, y'all, I am so excited for tonight. Welcome to Planning Together. And if you don't know what it is, y'all, every week I invite a friend on to share with us how they are organizing their life and their heart. And we talk planners, and it's just like getting some coffee with your girlfriend across the coffee table and hanging out. So I'm so glad you are here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And y'all, I'm so excited. Like, if you do not know who this amazing person is, I don't know, where have you been? Listen, Jen is the content creator behind JenPlans and JenPlans.com. Y'all, she has been sharing her journey of planning, organizing, budgeting, parenting for nearly a decade now. And y'all, I don't know if you know this or not, but Jen's like budgeting skills are amazing, and she has helped thousands of people pay off millions, y'all, millions dollars of debts and help families build stability for their families. And y'all, she just loves encouraging people to align their lives with things that matter most to them. And y'all, she lives in the metro Atlanta area with her husband and 3 children. Y'all, I'm so excited. Go ahead, light up those comments and let Jen know that you're so excited to have her at Planning Together, y'all. Woo, 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 woo.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Friends are here. Okay, I didn't know if people were gonna. I was like, oh, it's the night before Thanksgiving. Are we gonna have friends? Is it gonna just be us? I don't know. Mm-hmm. People are here.
Yes, I love seeing everybody. Hey, Steph. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Jeanette. Hey, Aisha. Hey, y'all. Hey, yes, Budget Queen. We got the Budget Queen in the house tonight.
I see so many of my favorite people. I'm so excited. This is so fun.
I'm so excited too. Okay, Jen, how are you doing? It's the day before Thanksgiving. How you feeling?
I'm good. I love Thanksgiving because I love to eat. I mean, I love to eat every day, but I especially love to eat on Thanksgiving. We're keeping it, like everybody, we're keeping it like super micro, low key. It's just immediate family. But I tend to like overdo it on the appetite, like I just make way too much. It's fine. It's Thanksgiving. Hi, everybody. So I'm really excited though, because Wild, you just did the charcuterie, the whole like thing. So I'm making like a giant, it's going to be kid friendly, for the kids. It's probably like apple slice, like stuff that they'll eat too. But I also got I got some fancy cheese. I don't know. So I'm putting the whole board together. I'm very excited. I just love the food.
I know. My favorite part about Thanksgiving is honestly like the week after, where you just have leftovers in your fridge. Like, oh, it's the best.
Totally agree. And it's like, I saw a meme floating around that said, it was like the kid asking the mom, like on a Tuesday, like, what's for dinner? And the mom was like, nothing. Thanksgiving is coming up. That's our house right now.
Literally the best meme. Best meme. I think we're ordering pizza tonight because we're like,
cannot
just come in tomorrow.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Now, Jen, this is not our first time meeting.
No. Should I do?
You should totally do it. I love how like big and small this community is. So, long story short, I knew Jen's mom from Show Crack Games of America, Sue Moniger, who's amazing. Hi, Mama Sue. And I was like, I randomly messaged like Lee and was like, does Sue have a daughter named Jen? And is her name JenPlans? Like, Because I thought your last name was Plans.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one. I was at a family wedding, and my cousin just got married, and her husband said, "Are the plans coming?" And my mom was like, "The who?" And he was like, "The plans. JenPlans. You're not the only one."
Okay, I'm so glad I'm not the only one. And it's like all Lee and Brennan's light bulbs went off. They're like, "Oh my gosh, yes!" Like that, and I was like, "What?" I know they're so amazing. And they're like, "Yeah, why didn't we connect the dots? Oh my goodness!" And I remember going to your mom and being like, "Is your daughter JenPlans?" And she was like, "Yes, let's FaceTime her."
That's totally. My mom is all about FaceTime everyone all the time. Even when there's like nothing to see. She FaceTimed me the other day, and she just set the phone down, and I'm like looking at the my mom FaceTime. Total extrovert. She got all the extrovert genes.
She got all the. Is everyone else in your family an introvert, like between your siblings and your dad?
That's a good question. My brother, I don't know. I think my dad's definitely he's even more introverted than I am. My dad would be like totally fine just being alone. He just likes solitude, and it's peaceful for him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because my mom is like my mom. Like she's enough extrovert for everybody. She just gets it's like what do they say? It's like how you recharge. Like she recharges like with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, like he needs to be by himself to recharge. Yeah, I'm total introvert. My brother he's I would say introverted. He likes to be around people a lot, but he needs his like decompress time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm curious in the comments. Let me know. Are y'all introvert or extrovert? I'm an extrovert who likes being by myself.
Oh, you're a unicorn.
I am totally an extrovert. I get energy from people, but when I'm ready to be by myself,
it's time.
It's time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. So do you like charge up around other people? Like that gives you like pumps you up when you're around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then I'm like all wired, and when I'm ready to like settle down, I need to be by myself. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But my husband's an introvert, and that's probably why, because he when we first got married, I remember he would go. We had a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, tiny apartment, and he would go in our closet just to be by himself, to get away from me. And I was like, "What are you doing? Like, you don't want to like be with you don't want to sit on the couch and watch it." Yeah. No, I just want to be by myself, and I just want to read a book. And I'm just like, "Okay, but why not go to the bedroom?" And he's like, "Well, I can still hear the TV and you. I just really want to be by myself and quiet." And I was like, "Okay."
It's so weird. I didn't, like you kind of, when you're younger, like you don't always realize that not everybody is the same way that you are. So like when you realize like, whoa, sometimes other people need to be around other people, or like sometimes other people need alone time. Like it's a definitely, especially when it's a partner. My husband is a total extrovert. He is like, he wants to meet people all the time. I'm like, I can do the people, but then like we get home and he's like, "Let's do a project." And I'm like, "I need to take a nap." I cannot.
I love it. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's get started with the game.
Okay.
Okay. I call this planner rapid fire. And I love it when the people in the comments join in with us. Okay, and I might throw in a few Thanksgiving questions as well.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go back and forth. Okay. Y'all ready in the comments? Okay. The first one, coil or bound?
Coil.
Okay. Rings or discs?
Rings. But I've never tried discs.
Okay.
But I still think rings. Because discs scare me. It's fine. How do they not fall out? Anyway, it's rings.
Vertical or hourly?
Hourly.
Daily or weekly?
Weekly, but some days need a daily, but most weekly is the final answer.
Micro perm or Sharpie?
Sharpie.
Okay. Washi or stickers?
Stickers.
Planner cart or planner caddy?
Cart. Caddy. Cart. A cart with a caddy that you can take. I'm terrible at this game.
Fun or functional?
Functional.
Okay. Sunday start or Monday start?
Monday start in a weekly, Sunday start in a monthly.
Academic year or calendar year?
Academic year. That one's easy.
One planner or multiple planners?
One planner.
Okay. Mac and cheese or green bean casserole?
Mac and cheese.
Dressing or stuffing?
What's the difference?
Oh!
Is there a difference? Wait, dressing and stuffing. Wait, well, does one go inside and one goes...
No. Okay, so dressing tends to be made more with, what is it, like cornmeal, cornbread, versus like dressing is definitely more bready and thicker. In my opinion, stuffing tends to be a little bit more drier, but like dressing tends to be a little bit more moist, in my opinion.
Okay. I feel like I may have just lost some friends. But let me explain. Okay. There's a reason. Okay. We never have either. We've never had either ever. And here's why. So my mom's side of the family is Armenian. And so a huge Armenian food is rice pilaf. And it's just always been like every family meal ever, rice pilaf is a side. And so because it's like a starch, and because we always have mashed potatoes and gravy, we never make a different starch. So we never make stuffing. We never make mac and cheese. We always have rice pilaf because it's like the traditional American Thanksgiving food, but always Armenian rice pilaf on the side. It's just like our family has always done it. And so I grew up not even knowing what stuffing was until probably I got married, and I went to my husband's Thanksgiving, and I was like, "What do you take, bread?" Like I didn't know. Apologies in advance. No, I don't. Oh, I just showed a lot of true colors with that.
It's okay. We learned something new.
That's why. So my family does the traditional Armenian rice pilaf side with Thanksgiving. So that's all that's all. Oh my goodness. I feel so bad. I'm sure both are wonderful. I'm team both.
Okay.
So dressing for everyone.
I'll give it to you. Okay. Yams or sweet potatoes?
Sweet potatoes.
Last one, sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie?
Apple pie.
Apple pie. Okay. There's some apple pie people in the comments and some pecan pie people in the comments as well.
You said it the Southern way. There you go. Right?
Isn't it? Yeah. How do normal? It's pecan, right?
I don't know. I'm not Southern, but I hear that there people talk about the two different ways to say it. I think you said it the Southern way. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Can Southern people help?
Yeah, let me know. Is there another way to say it?
Pecan or pecan?
Pecan. That's too much to say. Pecan.
That's what I thought. I don't know the answer to that one either. Okay, I don't know. I feel like these are trick questions.
Trick questions. Okay, this is not a trick question for you. I asked everyone this question. What was your first planner?
My first planner was in 6th grade. We went to middle school. Well, so here they call it middle school. In suburban Chicago, they call it junior high.
Okay.
So when I went to junior high, and I was in 6th grade, it was for orientation. I was probably 10 years old. They gave you, what do they call it? An assignment notebook. But it was a planner. It was a planner. And so it had, it was horizontal layout, and they gave you like a little bitty box for the weekend. But the point is that you write your assignments in the notebook every day. So like the teacher would say, which this was such a cool way to get people like into planning and like being, it might've been Daytimer. Yeah, it was Daytimer. Maybe the brand, I don't know. They supplied all the schools. And so it was little, like it was a half size, I guess, like an A5 is like probably the equivalent. And you would have to write your homework in. And I just always wrote like my other, like, not that I was doing a lot when I was like 10, but I would write like, I think I would journal a little bit, and I would write like, we had like a friend's birthday party or whatever. That was like my first, I didn't think about it at the time, like, oh, I'm using a planner, but that's like what it was. And then I started kind of doing, like when I got into college, people, like kind of stopped, if you don't have to use them, like the teachers require them. So everyone in junior high used them. And then in high school, the teachers didn't require them, but I still always used mine. And then college, almost nobody had them, but I was like, I couldn't wait to go to the college bookstore to like get the new planner for the year. So I would say 6th grade, first planner was the assignment notebook.
Yes, I agree with you, Karen. Best day when the agendas got passed out at school.
Yes. We're each other's people.
We are.
That's the best.
Okay, so I'm assuming, have you always been a planner?
Always.
Always. Okay, so now my question is for you, how many planners are you currently using?
Okay, so right now I'm just in rings. I got the binder on Amazon.
Yes.
I wasn't sure how committed I wanted to be to a ring system, so I bought a cheapy one because there are some really fancy ones out there that are gorgeous. Maybe Santa will bring one. I don't know. But they're beautiful. And I wanted to I was like, okay, I need to like not make a huge commitment in case it doesn't work. And I love the flexibility of being in rings. So right now, the cool part is everybody who's been in rings forever knows this. They're like, you should have known this. But like you make it your own. So like I have a notes section there for like quick lists, and I have a section for daily pages for the days that I need. Like 99% of the time I just need like a weekly, but every once in a while I have a really busy day where I need to be more tasky. And so I use a daily sheet, and then I have a section for work, and I do everything digitally for work, which kind of is like a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I have to, but I would like to do it all by hand, but I can't. And so I can keep like work notes in there. So everything's in one place for now. I've tried to do the multiple planner thing a couple of times over the years. And what I found was the one time that I really tried to do it differently, like I tried to do one for like calendar and to-dos, and then I tried to do another one for like health stuff. It just, everything gets, I forget to check it.
Yeah.
I make big goals. And then I feel like if you don't line up your, like your system with like the way your brain works, then it doesn't not work. So I'm a one, and it's one, always one.
Just one.
Yeah.
That I really appreciate that. Cause I've been trying to sometimes I feel bad for like only using one planner. I'm like, but it's just like the way like your brain works. Cause I tried it, and y'all, I have a whole thing of this right here that I tried, and it just,
they're so pretty. And I think, and for some people, like they need multiple planners because they need it to all be separate. So like I understand, like intellectually, I can understand why it works for other people, but my brain just isn't like, it does not work that way.
Okay, y'all are calling me out in these comments. Okay, yes, I did buy a cloth and paper ring agenda. And yeah, but I sold it when I stopped using it because I was like, I'm not using this. So I just sold it back and got my money back because I was like, I tried it. I tried the rings. And yes, I have my no teat cover cats. Why are you telling all my business? Like, why are you all up in my business? Yes, someone said I love rings because you could change the inserts often and you want the flexibility. Okay, so my question is, with the flexibility, how do you kind of like, for someone who's like new but not wanting to get overwhelmed with the rings, and I love how you said you kind of got yours off Amazon, how do you kind of keep all that within a budget perspective, would you say? Like,
yeah, so
too crazy if
that's a great question. I always feel like if you don't know where to start, I think you need to think about a couple of different things. I think the first thing to think about is, how do you like to see things? Like when you're planning out your week, like how do you like to see? Do you like to see everything a week at a time? Is that too overwhelming? Some people I know are only monthly. They've tried the week and that's like too detailed. So they need to zoom out a little bit because they don't have like a ton of appointments. So it makes more sense to have it like the whole month. And then really like, ooh, I got really angry at that. Sorry, that was loud. Like a really robust notes section. So like they do they're like mostly listing and they only need a little bit of space for appointments. So monthly makes more sense. So I think like, think about your schedule, think about what you like to like track and what you like to plan and what you like to see. And then the other side of it that I feel like people don't really talk about a lot is like the balance of like, how do you receive information and then how do you need to recall it? So like, and this comes up a lot, I think, when people are like talking about.
Tell me more. Like
is this like too nerdy? I don't know.
No,
I feel like I'm getting
you
like,
are with your people, so you're good. I'm like, what?
okay.
Please explain, because I feel like so many people struggle with, how do I know what layout may work best for me and which system may work best for me? So I think, talk about it, girl. Talk about it.
Okay, so here's okay. I feel like this comes up sometimes, especially when people talk about digital versus paper too. So it's not just like for totally getting started. It also can be like digital versus paper. But I feel like when people struggle to find a system that works for them, part of it is because they aren't connecting. Like, okay, let's say the information comes in, which is like you get an email invitation to something.
Okay.
Where does that go? You know, like where do you, if you're not with your planner, like, does it just get lost? Do you remind yourself, do you remind yourself, like, do you have a system for those things? And so I think people count on their planners to solve that problem, but like, that's not the real problem. The real problem is, how do you capture information when it comes in? And so that's like separate. So like so anyway, sorry, I'm like getting like,
no, I'm like, please go. Okay. Like, please go. We're all learning so much. Everyone, look, Shonda said, ooh, keep going. Lisa said, JenPlans, PhD. Jeanette said, oh yeah.
I'm so excited. Okay, this is great. Okay. So I feel like for when people are starting, I feel like they try to think of like how they want to see everything, which is great. But you also need to think about how are you taking the information in? So are you getting emails with invitations to stuff? Are people texting you and saying like, hey, can you do this thing for me? And where are you when all that information comes in? Or like, are you at the doctor's office and they want to schedule your next appointment, but you don't have your, you don't have your planner with you? Like, I don't bring my planner anywhere. So I realized years and years and years ago, like, I need to find a way to catch like all that information. And I talked about this. I think I talked about this at Go Wild like a million years ago, maybe the first or second one, maybe the second one. But I keep on my phone, I keep a note. So I have an iPhone, the notes app in your iPhone. And I pinned a note to the top of my notes app, and it's my add to planner note. And so I always I receive information. 99% of my information comes through the phone. It's an email from my kid's school. It's an evite to, not anymore. Nobody's inviting anyone anymore. When life was regular, like people would send evites out, like everyone would send evites. I would get like the Girl Scout troop leader would send a text, like she always does everything in text. So everything was coming to my phone and I was not always home. And then I would like forget about it, or I'd remember like, okay, wait a second. I know this person sent me something, and I know someone sent me something, and I'm like very scatterbrained, like very, very I'm like extreme scatterbrained. So I was like, I need a system. So I have my note that I pin in my phone. And so every time I get an email, every time I get a text from the Girl Scout leader, every time I get like something comes from somewhere, I put it in my notes app under add to planner. And I have it sectioned out. I have like to do, to go, to respond. And I keep it all there until I have time to sit down in my planner for the week. And then I dump everything into my planner.
Oh, I love that.
So I feel like when people, sorry, you asked a question and it like triggered that part of my brain that was like, I remember thinking like, I'll just put it on my planner. And then I remember like, why isn't this, that feeling of like, why isn't this working? Inbox. Yeah, exactly. Totally like an inbox. And so, and it really like that method might not be the best method for everyone, but in my opinion, it's a great method if your main way of receiving information is your phone. And so, or like your email. And if you're not with your planner, like that information needs a place to go and like hang out for a while until you can use it. Then you need to think about, so that's receiving. Then you need to think about recalling? Like, when do you need to recall the information? And so, for example, sorry, this is like mega.
No, I'm like so fascinated. I'm like, I literally feel like I'm in like a TED talk. This is awesome. Like, this is so wonderful.
I feel like I could talk for like, I could talk all night. And so, then you have to think about like how and when and where you recall information. A perfect example of this is like when you're grocery shopping. If you make your list on paper, but you always forget to bring your paper to the store, you're not using the right system. So like I meal plan on paper, but then I always put my shopping list. That's why I never use a shopping list sheet of paper. I always put it in my phone. It goes in a shopping list app because I know that when I'm in the grocery store, 10 times out of 10, I'm going to forget. 10 times out of 10, I don't even know where the note is. Somewhere in the house, I have no idea. I've tried it, I forget it, or I leave it in the car. Like sometimes if I'm like, yes, I brought it in the car, then I leave it in the car. So 100% of my shopping list has to go into my phone. So I have the shopping list app, and I love writing stuff out. I will never not love writing stuff out. I would prefer to always write stuff out. But when you think about, like, you have to ask yourself, like, where do I need to recall this information? And if you need to recall information when you're out, what do you always have with you? If you always carry your planner, then that's great. Then you can keep it in your planner. But if you never carry your planner out, it needs to be, here. The other thing is, what's like here's another like totally weird thing. I, every once in a while, I need to like get certain like let's say like a bin for like my fridge. Like I was getting a bin for the fridge. And I measured, I measured the dimension, isn't that what we all do? We measure the dimensions. So I measured the dimensions of like my fridge, like the drawer. And I wrote the dimensions down like in a notebook. And I was like, that's not the right place to write it. Like I have to put, because when I'm out at, wherever, and I run into a store, I'm not going to be like, hey, can someone at home go through my notebook? Like it just, like, so thinking about how you receive, when do you receive the information and what do you have in your hand? If it's always your planner, then that's great. Then the planner is where it should be. If you're receiving the information from your phone, it should go in your phone, and you can always put it in your planner. That's what I do. I receive everything and then I put it in my planner.
Yeah.
And then you have to think about when you recall it. If it's my to-do list of my stuff to do at home, that always goes in my planner because I'm always at home when I need to do that stuff. If I'm calling to make appointments for, my kids, well visit or their whatever, the dentist, that always happens at home. I'm always with my planner, so I don't need to use my phone for that. But you know what I mean? Like it's just it's a funky, like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people think they don't have a great planner, and the planner's not the problem, So that was a very long answer.
Did I hear that? She said the planner's not the problem.
To your question.
Listen, that's wonderful. I'm just like, I'm like, this is so good. Like, I'm just sitting back like, this makes so much sense. This makes so much sense. And I love seeing what people are saying, because I know Aisha said, yes, that's very important. I totally get it. My brain works in lists, and that's what I go with every time. She said she can't go for the horizontal. Yeah. I love that. Jasmine said, I feel the same way about the horizontal. My brain can't figure out how to make it work. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried the horizontal, and the problem is I like seeing everything in chronological order. Even if there's a chunk, I still prefer hourly over vertical, because even if there's a chunk of time that like, I don't know exactly what I'm doing from 2 to 5, but if I know that's like my time to get stuff done, then I just write like do the stuff. It doesn't need to be like super precise.
Yeah.
But if I'm not like looking, because I'm so scatterbrained, if I'm not looking right at it, it just like goes right up.
Oh my goodness. See, that's so funny. Someone said, because, wait, I'm literally pulling out my planner. I'm such a list person, in that when I write in all I'm doing is writing down a to-do list. And like, I might put my schedule on this side, but when I think of like processing and taking in the information, definitely it goes through my phone, and then I write it out to paper, but I just need it in list format. But I can't do times. I cannot do times. Yeah. I tried it, and it's like, like
there's no wrong. It has to be like what works for you and for your brain, and like for the way that you see things. And I think the fact that there are so many different layouts, like there's something for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
really is. And like, going back to the original, like the rings and like setting up, I didn't even answer. Oh my gosh, I didn't even answer your question. Okay.
You're perfect. You're great. Listen, I love what Jeanette just said. She said, anyone else want Jen to create systems for your life? Yes. Like, I'm with you. Yes.
It's so fun. You take a pic. Yes. Okay. Yes. Awesome hack. Taking pictures or screenshots.
Kat, I love that.
Brilliant. That's the kind of stuff that's a perfect example of like you need to find the way that works for you and the way that your brain, like especially people who have a photographic memory, like you take the picture of it so that you remember. Like a huge part of this process is, and like I think that's what I would say to a beginner. You have to really take a step back and think about how you personally like to see things and like how things stick in your head and how you like to kind of map things out, because it's so personal. I could never say like, oh, if you're new, you should start with this. Like that's so different for everybody else. And for a lot of people, it's going to be trial and error. People figure out what works for them.
Yeah. My trial and error this year was trying my disc. I tried it for like 3 months.
You were like, no.
I'm such a flexible person that I'm like, because I'm a flexible person, I didn't need a system that was flexible. I needed a system that was maybe a little bit more structured.
What?
And then I also just kept spending money and spending more money on the things. And I was like, oh, rewind. So I just complained a planner, and it's working. It's working great.
I love the custom ones that are like Goldilocks, just what you need.
Yes. Okay, so now I want to let's get even more geeky.
Okay.
If you only could pick 5 planner essentials, what would they be?
Okay. Including the planner?
You don't have to include your planner.
Okay. Blue Pilot G2, obviously. That's favorite.
Classic.
Definitely that. I could do only that's my one. Like if you're trapped on an island with one planner, that's my one. It's always gonna be that. I've tried all the other ones. Everyone says this one's great and this one's the G207 blue. It's got to be the 7. It's got to be, obviously it has to be the blue for me. So that's like number 1. Number 2. Okay, 5 things. Blue Pilot G207. Really super into highlighters this year. Really love, because you can do so much with them. You can use them to block off times. You can use them to block off days. You can take the thinner tip and you can write, so I definitely, highlighter, pen, highlighter. I think I need to bring sticky notes. I use sticky notes a lot. When life was like busy, or like doing things, I would always pre-plan with sticky notes because I could move them around in case something changed and I didn't have to like commit to anything. Now I use them for things that I need to carry like from week to week sometimes, that I don't want to like rewrite every time.
I get you.
I also really like using them. So this is another, wait, let me answer the question first.
I love your tangents though.
Yeah, okay. I am like, whew. Okay. G2, mild liner, sticky note. I'd probably take my I have a mini pack, what's it called? Compact sticker something from Chrissy N Designs. It's it's like this big. I took them out. I tucked them into my thing. So like just enough to like get by. Little itty bitty ones. They're all functional. I mean, she makes other ones, but I use functional ones. 5. What's my 5th one? Oh, the clips. How do you say it? Can we get a tutorial on how to say the magnetic clip name? Because I have clip. Yeah. How do you say it?
I say Ollie clip.
Ollie clip. That's great. I've never known, and so I always avoid it. So whenever anyone asks, I'm like, yeah.
Wait, what are they called? Are they not called Ollie clips?
I've heard people call them Ollie clips, and I've heard people call them Oli clips, and I've heard people call them Oli Ollie you, Oli you, Oli you clip. I've been using them for a very long time, and I have never, it's kind of like when you don't know someone's name and you're like, hey,
Uh, uh,
see you. I don't know how to say it. Oli clip.
Oli clip. Oh,
I had no idea.
I had no idea. It's like
I'm always afraid. Oli. I don't know how to say it. That's the one. That's the number.
That's so nice. Thank you, Jeanette, for that. It's pronounced Oli clip.
Oli clip.
Oli
now
clip.
I will know that forever. I've been avoiding saying it for 5 years probably because I'm like the magnetic clip that looks like this. And I just never say it. Oli clip.
Okay.
I'm afraid I'm going to say it. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my number 5. Here's the other thing that I love about sticky notes. I feel and this is always why I segment out my sidebar with to do, to go, and to contact. I also use sticky notes to like group tasks together. There's a name. Oh gosh, it's like task batching, maybe. There's a fancy name.
Ooh.
There's a fancy name for it. Or people talk about it with time blocking or task batching or whatever they call it. Anyway, you do similar tasks at the same time. So I know, like, if I have to make phone calls, I block off. I hate making phone calls. But if I have to make phone calls, I block off like 15 minutes, 14 minutes of it, I have to hype myself up. And then the 1 minute I make the calls. And so, being honest. And so I put everything, like I put all of those things on like those go on a note. Oh, those I put in my planner. But like I had to do some work stuff today, but I didn't have my work stuff in front of me. So I put all of that on one sticky. Like I'm not going to write that all over my planner because then I'm like, when I have time to focus on that one thing, task batching. Yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay.
You do similar tasks at the same time. So I use sticky notes sometimes for task batching, or if I know like, okay, it's chores, like I got to get stuff done around the house. I'm not, like I don't want to write in my planner like dishes and like I write everything down, or like stuff that the kids need to do, and I slap it on the kitchen table. Or if I'm leaving in the morning, sometimes not even in my planner. If I'm leaving it, I'm not like I'm going anywhere now. When I used to leave in the morning, I would write down like if I need to bring like to like put something in the cart or like bring something for the kids, it was like permission slips, water bottle, like just little, and I'd leave it right with my keys. So remind Post-it notes. Just Post-it notes. Love them.
Post-it notes are life.
Way in the top 5 for sure. Maybe top 3.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Jen, I'm having there's so many questions that I have for you because girl, you ain't gotta apologize. Like I feel like I'm like a TED talk and I'm just learning so much. Like I'm learning new terms like Oli. Oli.
Like,
I gotta think like Oli. Like
why isn't there? Where's the U though? Isn't there a U in the name? Oli U clip. Oli U.
Is there a U? Mine doesn't have a U.
Maybe it's their Etsy store. I swear somewhere. Wait a minute. Isn't there? Have I lost it? Isn't there a U in there somewhere?
I'm trying. All I see are O's.
Okay, I fell off. I don't know what's happening. I added a letter.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you honestly, the one common thread that I've noticed, like when talking with people in general, of like, how did you get started with the planner community? There seems to be this common thread of like, I ran across this account, JenPlans, and she posted this photo, and I have heard that countless times, and I just think it's super, super cool. So my first question for you, what in the world made you want to start a planner account? Like,
okay, this is a very nerdy and boring answer, but I have an answer. But it's like, so it's going to be a mega letdown. Okay. So here's the answer. So in the very beginning of planner Facebook groups, there was a group called, what was it called? EC Fan Club, Erin Condren Fan Club. It preceded We Love EC.
Okay.
And this was bad. I feel like I'm going to say like we had to walk both ways uphill in the snow. to school. It was like you could Facebook did not allow you to create albums from your mobile app.
Okay.
From the Facebook mobile app. So I was in the group, and I would post a picture like every week or every, you know, like couple days of my planner, as we all do.
Uh-huh.
And people, after a while, I had a couple people say, "Can you please make an album in the group just for your planner, that you just put your pictures in the planner, so when people go into the Facebook group, if they want to find your pictures, they can just go to one album."
Uh-huh.
And Facebook didn't have that ability from the phone. Like, you could only create an album from your computer. It's like weird to even think about that, but this is like 2011, 2012. I mean, it was like probably 8, 7, 9. What year is it? 2020. It's probably
2020.
9 years ago. I'm like, math as Common Core. I don't know how to do math.
Common Core.
Anyway, it's so, yeah, whatever year it was. This is like a long time ago. So you couldn't add albums from your phone. And Instagram, I don't know if it had just come out, but somebody said you can do Instagram from your phone. And I thought Instagram was just like a photo album that you could, like, I mean, it kind of is, that you could just send someone a link to. I did not know that people followed people they didn't know. Like, I didn't know you could find other people. I didn't know you could find strangers. I didn't know I didn't know what a hashtag was. I had no idea. All I knew was I couldn't do it on my phone for Facebook, but I could do it from my phone on Instagram. And so I was like, cool, I'll just do it there. So I set up my little account, and every time someone would say, like, where are your pictures? I would just say, it's my Instagram. And then I remember the day that the number of followers surpassed the number of people in the group. And I was like, who are these people?
Uh-huh.
And so that's how it started. People had asked for it to be in one place. And that was just like, I'm a functional person at my core. Like, everything comes down to, like, okay, well, what's the easiest, best way, most efficient way to do it? And for me at the time, it was Instagram. I didn't have any idea about Instagram other than, oh, I can do it from my phone. And so I started adding pictures. And then I kind of learned over time, like, okay, there are other people outside of this planner. And then there are other people outside of Facebook. And then there are other people who are, like, maybe not super planner people, but maybe they're journal people, or maybe I found budget people, and then you kind of, like, you weave together, like, all these different pieces. Some people are really into, like, the hand, like, I found some really cool, then I realized I can follow other people, so it just became like this whole, but that was a very long time ago. But that's how I never was like, I'm going to start a planner Instagram, and not that there's anything, I mean, like, that's great. Like, now people know so much more about, I just didn't know at the time that was, like, a thing. I just thought it would be an easy place to, like, show people, like, oh, you can go here instead, and it's easier. That's such a boring answer, but no. I'm so grateful. I mean, it's been so cool because I think probably, maybe not all planner people, I think most planner people are visual. Like, they need to, like, see things in front of their face. And I think that's a big part of the reason Instagram is so helpful, because you can get so many cool ideas from people.
Yes.
So even if it's not, I don't know, my favorite is, like, I don't like to do exactly what somebody else does, but I see something that somebody else does, and it makes me think, like, oh, I can make that work for me, or I can use that in this part of my life. And it's so inspiring. Like, it's just so cool. So
I love that, because it was just like, you're like, there was a need, someone asked for it, and you're like, okay. And speaking of inspiring, I'm curious, what planner accounts have been inspiring you?
Oh my gosh.
AKA, who you've been crushing on? Who you're planning crushing on?
So hard. Oh my gosh. This is really hard. There are like 100. I mean, there's like 100,000. I mean, there's so many. I should go through my, I cannot, it's impossible to name one. I mean, okay, so let me tell you what let me answer it this way. I search, yes, I love searching hashtags. Functional planning, planner hack. Those are the ones that I always really like to search. I like, oh gosh. I mean, it's too many to name specifically. There are so many. I think the hard part, no, not hard part. I think the hard part, I guess, pinpointing specific people is that there are so many. I feel like I draw something from everybody. Big
Mm-hmm.
account, small account, functional, decorative. It doesn't really matter. Like there's no like core like, oh, I want to emulate that. It's always like, oh, this is inspiring to me, and so I love this idea, I want to incorporate that.
Yeah.
Or this person did this spread, like there's such a cool way to track this one thing. Like I love taking bits and pieces and thinking like, oh, okay, they do that so well, like how could I make that work for me, and like what ideas could I take from that to make my situation more productive. I just
Yeah.
love, as a visual person, it's just so helpful to see, I don't know, everybody. I'm crushing on everyone that has like their own, I don't know. It doesn't, any account. I mean, I could really name any account, and I feel like I've gotten, you know.
There's honestly like so many, and I'm just like, oh, I love how they're doing that functionally. Oh, I love how they're doing that with memory planning. Oh, and I love how they're doing that with highlighters. Like,
Exactly.
mm-hmm,
That's totally where I am.
mm-hmm. I just want to point, yes, Miss BB Ski said, Jen was my first planner nerd channel I started watching, and so did Mel. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You guys are the best. I love this community so much. There's
It
nothing.
is. And my question for you is, how have you seen the planner community in particular like change over the years? Because
Oh,
I'm so curious. I have my thoughts, but I love hearing other people's thoughts too.
you know, I have to give credit where credit is due. The biggest game changer in the planner community has been Wild, and creating an event like Go Wild. There were smaller meetups happening. My first planner party, I didn't even call it a planner party. We got the first planner in the mail. A couple friends and I ordered our first planners 10 years ago. And the one friend said, why don't you come? We were in a mom's group. We all had babies at the same time, and we were all on maternity leave. And she said, bring when your planner comes in, let's bring them together, and we'll set up our calendar. It was like, that was before the groups, before everything.
Mm-hmm.
And being like now looking back, I didn't think about it at the time, being around other people who really love and appreciate the same stuff you do. I mean, this too because of camp. I mean, this kind of crosses over into the camp stuff. Like being in community with other people is crucial. I mean, for me, and like seeing the development of what it has done for the planner world and the friendships. Like I used to say, I mean, I still kind of say it's planner friend, but now these people are like, they're friends friend, like they're real friends. The same with camp, I heard that my whole life with my mom's camp. Oh, they're camp friends, but it's not just a camp friend. It's like you go through like this bond over something that you have in common. And there are so many different people in our community. They come from around the world. I mean, it's crazy to think like the global, it's really a global community. It's not just here. It's not just in our state. It's not, it's so big. And so being able to really come together, not just Instagram, but the group, the in-person events, the video, now everything's kind of happening virtually, but even along with the virtual stuff, like the community and the interaction of people, building each other up, I think is huge. Encouraging other people, accountability, like for the people who want accountability, like in like a positive way, not like in a you need to do this or why haven't you, like there's nothing that's more exciting when you see someone do something that they've been wanting to do, because we all zoom in on the plan and we're like, oh, that's been on the list for a while. Like I remember when someone messaged me and said, I'm so happy you cleaned your basement, because it was on my list for like probably 6 years. And the only time we ever cleaned it out is when we had moved, and so we had to. And someone messaged me and said, I'm so happy that you got to cross off clean out your basement. And I was like, me too.
I love that.
But like,
I love that.
Like you just get to connect and encourage people in ways that you just, I don't know. these are personal. Like we write personal things about our lives and like what we want to accomplish. And especially for me, like with the budgeting, seeing all the budgeting stuff, I don't
Yeah.
know. I have seen the evolution from like just internet friends to like support, encouragement. And then, unfortunately, when you're friends with somebody for a long enough time, you end up like also being there like when life happens, like the not good parts of life. And so having a support system in those situations, like it's just, that's been my favorite thing to see.
Yeah. I love that. I'm such a huge fan of community, and honestly, like I want everyone who's watching this right now, if you can, I want you to comment like a community that has been life-giving to you, whether it's a Facebook group, a Instagram group, that's not a thing, like whether it's a group outside of the planning community, if it's a person. I really want to know, and I want everyone to know, because maybe someone doesn't have community and you're like, oh, I didn't even know there was a group for that. Like, is there a group for that? Like, I can just name off like a few groups that I've been like, the Wild You group has been so, for me, been really life-giving. Like, Jeanette, I know you're on here. I love you. You are such a gift. You are such a gift. Thank you for being obedient to that, your heart and your passion, because that for me has been such a group for me. And also I call them my tending together sisters, where we meet once a month and we go over our goals. Like, that has also been like a community for me. So like, y'all, let me know your communities, whether they're Wild You, Cloth and Papers group, like Cloth and Paper Addicts, that's another big one. And the Moxie Life community, I know that's also been one for me. So I just love hearing people's communities and their spaces. So let us know in the comments.
Love
And
it.
while you're at it, get your questions ready for Jen, because I could talk to Jen all day. So, but I know y'all got questions for her. So get your questions ready. But I love what Hannah said. She said, there it is. She says, I love Jen's simple functional planning. It's always things that I think to myself, like, why didn't I think of that?
You guys are so sweet. It's so weird because I don't know. I guess we talked about this a little bit earlier. I feel like everything has come out of necessity. Like, I never sit down and think like, okay, think of a really creative way to do something. It's always what do I need to do, and like what's working and what's not working, and so
yeah, definitely. Misty, I see you starting to find non-Facebook communities. Y'all, if you know any, put them in the comments. I know there's like some planner companies that do like community groups within their websites and stuff. So that's something to look into. Just saying. Okay. I have another question for you. Do you, Jen, believe in planner peace? Do you believe that's a thing?
Okay. Definitely yes. With a caveat. 100% yes. But I think people need to not be attached to having that mean that what you pick is something that is the same forever. People need to be open to, in different seasons of your life, your planner setup is going to change. So I think planner piece is not tied to the person. I think it's tied to the season of life that you're in.
I love that. I love the way you put that.
I feel like I always feel like sometimes we're looking at things, maybe we could look at it in a different way. And so I think when people talk about planner piece, it's really finding what is working for you right now. And that could work for you for a year or 5 years. My planner system worked for me for a really long time, up until all my kids started going to school full time and I started working. And then I needed to I was like, my system's not working anymore. And it's nothing wrong with the system, and it's nothing wrong with me. It's just my life stage changed. And so all of a sudden, what used to be planner piece, perfect in that season of my life, change, it's just change. And so I think we need to be open to really being, so much of this is just being in touch with ourselves and like not fighting like where we are right now. And I think realizing that nothing has to be permanent. Like we don't have to make a permanent commitment. Like everybody says, I know it's so cliche to say this in the planner community, we turn a new page every week. You do. And sometimes every day you do. Like you can turn a new page, it does feel cliche saying that because I know people say that. It's so true. And so when people talk about planner piece, that's what I always think. Like maybe it is right now, but that does not mean that it has to be the same thing 6 weeks from now or 6 months from now or 6 years from now. And it's really, up to the person. But yes, I totally believe in planner piece.
Oh, I love that. I love how you said it's not determined by it's not the system, but the season. Oh, not the system, it's the season.
Oh, yes.
Oh, moment.
I love it.
Okay, so Kat had asked, are we going to get a part 2 to this? Listen.
I'm up for it.
Okay, Jen's up for it. So yes, y'all, we will get a part 2. We'll get it on the calendar. Yes. Okay, yes. Okay, I got some questions that came in from Instagram.
Okay.
Now, 2 of them kind of were tied together.
Okay.
Julie from Julie Plans had asked, will you ever give up blue ink?
No. I knew what she was going to ask. I should have just said no right away.
You should have said no. And then Lakin had asked from Blame It Lakin. Why is black ink so amazing? Got some blue ink haters.
I was like, they're gonna.
They're gonna come. See,
my number one.
Amazing. I only use black ink for sometimes like with sticker kits, but like I like blue. It gives it some life and some color.
I feel like it makes it pop on the page. For me, and again, like I know, like we always like it's always like a fun. I really do feel like everyone needs to figure out what works best for them. I don't know. There's something about the standing out when you write it down on the page. And the pilot. So there are different kinds of blue shades, and so it has to be inky enough. It has to like soak into like. Some ink like sits on top of the page. I need to do another pen. Okay, I have another pen test video in the works because there are so many new pens out since the last time I did one. But like how some ink like sits on top of the page and some of it absorbs into the. Anyway, maybe that's part 2.
Yes. Okay. Okay. And someone else had asked this on here. So Lisa had asked, my question is there a new budget update planner? Because also Robin had asked, what will your budget setup look like for 2021?
Okay. I'm working on some projects. New budgeting stuff coming soon. I'm very, very excited. This year I had to completely redo the way that we did our stuff, really because of all the coronavirus stuff going on. Our finances, like I've never been more, there were 2 things that happened. One, it made me really totally revamp my system being in like an economic crisis.
Yeah.
But 2, the other thing is, I think I've shared this before. My husband and I are both self-employed. And so our income always has been inconsistent.
Okay.
So it really forced us to go into like emergency mode, which thankfully, it's a huge testament to like you do this stuff for a long enough time and you think like, okay, probably nothing's going to happen. But I remember even last fall, I was talking to somebody about their budget and I said, if the whole world explodes, like this sounds really good right now, but if the whole world explodes, you're not going to want to do that. Like you're going to it's harder, but do this way because it'll, and then like, nobody wanted this to happen, but you realize if there's anything that we've noticed this year, it's how quickly things can change and how just important it is to make sure that that's a part of our life that we're paying attention to. And so I started a while ago. I started about 2 years ago, but I really started this year figuring out some new stuff. So
I can't wait.
anyway, stay tuned.
Okay, yeah, she said stay tuned. Okay, well, y'all let us know in the comments what your biggest takeaway is tonight. Definitely comment. I want Jen to close us out with this question. What lessons has this year taught you, and how are you incorporating them into your planner?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I am not a flexible, that's not true. I don't enjoy being a flexible person. Very, like, I want to know what's happening. I want to know the plan. I want to know the order. This year really made me realize how much is out of our control.
Mm-hmm.
And it has really, I think it brings out, especially people in our planner community, it brings out a side of your brain that has to be creative. Like you have to be creative. You have to be creative in how you problem solve. You have to be creative in how you make adjustments for your family. I don't know if I think you and I talked about this before, but I don't think we said it here. My kids, we decided to keep all of them home. They're all virtual. Our school district gave us the choice. 40% of our families in our school decided to stay home. So we are part of that 40%. 60% of our families are at school. As some of you know, now I'm working full-time. I was not working when my kids were born. Then I was working part-time, and now I'm working full-time. And thankfully it's from home, but I'm helping my kid. My kids are elementary age. They're 7, 9. My son just turned 9, 7, 9, and 10. They're all like, right there. And they still need help. They need help with the technology. They need help with my printer. They need to print the worksheet and my little, and it's all day, every day. And it's very, very challenging. And so it's always like, I was on a staff call today and it was like, like you log in. I mean, thankfully now they're not in school, but it's like you have 5 minutes to like check an email, and then a kid needs something. So we had to completely readjust our schedule. We had to completely readjust our work setup. We're both working from home now, and the kids are doing school from home. So the whole being adaptable and still trying to have a good attitude about it, like, and be positive, especially for the kids. Like, they absorb, like, kids are so stinking smart. They absorb the vibe around you. They absorb your mentality. Like they can tell, like I have massive anxiety. Like when therapists, you could see them in person. I would see one, the anxiety can be crippling sometimes. I've always struggled with that. And to think, I'm so thankful I've like learned some tools to like reel myself in, because I know that it will spill to my kids. And like so I think just learning how to adapt and be flexible and the whole, like, I have a tendency to feel like if it's not perfect, I shouldn't do it. Like, and I know the saying, like, progress is better than, like, I know all the sayings, but like, if you're that kind of person, like, you're like, yeah, those sayings are great, but like, you still want it to be perfect. Letting go of that and just accepting, like, like you look at the hierarchy of needs, like my kids are safe, we're home, we have food to eat, we have jobs. We're so fortunate, like so I think, like, and there was a great, I don't know if you were on the live, the Bloom ladies did a gratitude. Like just to remember in Wild You, if you got, I don't know if everyone watching is part of Wild You, but Wild You did just an amazing gratitude session the other day, and it's such a good reminder, like, no matter how chaotic things are, finding things to be grateful for. Doesn't mean other things aren't hard. Like, other things are hard. It doesn't mean you still don't have to deal with the other hard things. But for me personally, and especially with planning, I've kind of stepped away from my planner. I just don't have that much to plan right right now. And that's okay. Accepting that has been amazing, because 10 years ago, I might have felt like, what am I going to do with my planner?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, it's the seasons. It's all about the seasons. I am not in that season right now. Like I have, like I'm in the season of needing to be totally present with my kids right now. And, like I want them to remember, I don't want them to remember mom was a mess, like I don't want them to remember mom was trying to check things off the list. I don't want them to remember mom was all about like, I want them to remember like mom was so encouraging and mom helped me when I needed help. And mom, even though mom had to work late and sometimes daddy had to put me to bed, because that's how my husband and I balance our schedules. I'm with them during the school day and then I work at night and he puts them to bed some night, like that's, you have to make it work. Adaptability. I don't know. I think adaptability and like accepting and being totally comfortable with like things are not going to look probably the way that you want them to look right now. And that's okay. And so what can we take out of that? That's, yeah, I would say this year has really taught me to like ease up on trying to control everything. It's just not going to happen and it's okay. And it's good. You can get a lot of great things out of that. So.
Yeah. I love that. I love that so, so much. And just the fact that one thing you're like, I don't want my kids to look back and think, mom was so stressed out or she was trying to do her to-do list. Like I'm now questioning like, what is my husband, what is my brother gonna say like during this time? How was Darian during this time? Like that's a powerful question. I really appreciate it.
I had someone say to me, the to-do list never goes away. This is a long time ago. And I was like, oh, that's true. That's true. The to-do list never goes away. You never complete. It's like the laundry. You never really cross the laundry off, like you always have.
There's always something to do.
There's always something. Like the list never goes away. And I used to not be good. I was so guilty of like, I need to, like the kids would say, can we go outside? And I would say, I need to do the, and sometimes you have to say that. Like, of course you have to have boundaries. I'm not, like I would never be like, don't do anything, just play, all day. But even though that would be great. But I'm really, really trying to be more conscious of, like what are the things that need to happen right now? And what are the things that can wait because there are other more important things like you right now? And, I always grew up, both my parents were, my mom, she was a college professor full time. And then she owned her own business and she ran the camp. She was always working. And I never, ever one time ever felt like she was not there. I never felt like she was not there for me. Even if that meant she brought us to the office and you're filing today and you're opening envelopes today and you're doing data entry today. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing to be a part of it. I never felt like we didn't belong or that work was more important. It just always was together. And so, that's kind of what we're trying to do with our kids. Like my husband's a small business owner. Like the kids help pack boxes sometimes, we're doing it together instead of you guys go do this because we need to, so we just the balance. I don't know.
Yeah, I love that. That's so team mindset. Like we're all on this team together. Like, yeah, this is dad's small business, but it's also the family. We're all on this team. We're all doing it together. Like even with virtual learning right now, like kids are in school, but the parents are also in school. Like we're doing all of this. Listen, parents are in school too, y'all. Like, listen, I'm praying for y'all. I'm praying for y'all. Like,
I will say though, I will give it up to the teachers because when my kids have their headphones off and I can hear all of the first graders saying, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And the teacher, bless her heart. And I mean that not in the Southern way. I mean that in the for real, bless her heart way. She's like, she has the princess voice. As I have said, we are doing, it's like, God bless the teachers. Teachers, you're the MVPs right now.
Thank you, teachers. Yes. Thank you. I know tattoo teacher, Taylor, you're a teacher. Thank you. I know you're on here. So like, thank you. Any other teachers? Thank y'all. Jen, I just want you to see some of the takeaways that people have said. And y'all, we're totally gonna do a part 2 because we didn't even scratch the surface with budgeting and all the things. Like there's so many things. But Shonda has said, let the way you receive and retrieve information influence your planning techniques. Jeanette said, the problem is not the planner. Crystal said, find a system to input and export your information so you can use your planner and it becomes a resource. Community matters is my takeaway.
100%.
Find a system that works for you. Yes. Key takeaway, use my phone as a temporary holding spot till I can sit down. Yes. Jasmine said, planning a note on my phone that I can add to until I can sit with it in my plan. I know, it's such a great idea. I love that. Love that. What else okay, Hannah has said, I love that. I also have to remember that I'm not perfect. And if I'm stressed out one day, my kids are also super resilient and forgiving.
Yes.
It's not the system, it's the season. Yes. All these things. This is amazing. Jen, where can people keep up with you, follow you, for anyone who's not already following you? Because you're amazing.
You can find me at Jen_plans on Instagram. I need to get more stuff up on YouTube. As we're talking about seasons, this has been a season of like the kids are, that's what's happening right now. But I think we're in a good enough groove that I can like start doing stuff to like fill my own bucket a little bit more. So I'll be around a little bit. I'll be around a little bit more. But yeah, Instagram's probably the best place. And then stay tuned for, maybe some other stuff coming up, especially for budgeting.
You guys, I cannot wait. You guys, thank you so much for joining us and hanging out. Don't worry, we're gonna schedule a part 2 because y'all, Jen has so much, like a wealth of information. Like someone said it, a PhD. Listen, I feel the same way. But y'all enjoy the holiday. I hope you are just able to just have a great day tomorrow. But thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you next week, same time, same place. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.